Final 5. That's what you're shooting for when you compete in a Walmart FLW Tour event. Getting by 170 seasoned anglers, many of them past champions themselves, make it into the final day of competition. It's no easy feat. Sometimes it comes down to one solitary moment in an 8-hour fishing day. A single hookup keeps your chances alive.
There's a fish on that thing. Buddy, get the net, will you? Get some nice fish. Oh, man. Man, that's what a man needed right there. Holy. You boys may be fishing with me tomorrow. Man.
Into the thick of the season here on the Walmart FLW Tour. Last year in May at this time, we were on a river then, but it was the Mississippi River, low water, limited access to all these good places to fish. Looks like the complete opposite here on the Red River. Their newly expanded lock and dam system. They got 1 million places to fish, or so it would appear.
And, you know, I think it's always interesting when we fish river systems, and we've had a shot at a river before this event, but this is going to be a good, you know, last year we fished here, fished in the fall, a championship. Fishing was so-so, you know. Right now, boy, we may be in the heart of the good fishing in this area, and boy, you're going to see a lot of action. No big fish, but we'll see a lot of action.
Yeah, although Kevin Van Dam did bring in one about 7.5 pounds the first day of the tour.
I'll bet you can tell me who the top 5 are.
Of course, it includes Van Dam, and we'll start with Dan Moorhead. He was our leader through the first 2 days, a former champion.
Well, he caught some geese farce today.
I hope so. That was the most entertaining part of his win before. Another champion, Dwayne Horton, is in the field. He won back in 1997 on Kerr Reservoir.
He'll be tough here because this is his type of fish. He's going to surprise us, though.
And, of course, Kevin Van Dam, who, as you mentioned earlier, is the leader in the points toward the Angler of the Year.
He may be running away with that. Our last event's in his backyard, so, boy, he will be tough.
All right, Craig Powers.
OCP, again, his kind of fishing. Boy, he likes to fish, flip the logs and the trees. Boy, he'll be tough today, Tommy.
And a bit of an unknown quantity, Bill Chapman from West Virginia, his first time in a top 5.
West Virginia, isn't that funny? I don't know if he gets a lot of experience fishing a big river around logs.
Yeah, this is not exactly a mountain lake here, but it's going to be some great fishing. Stick around. We're on the Red River for the Walmart FLW Tour. All these guys are fishing similar techniques. The cover pretty much looks the same no matter where you go on the river. Only one angler, though, is making a long run, heading south from the takeoff.
I'm going to start doing the same thing I've been doing, you know, throwing spinnerbait, flipping a strike king jig, and just, you know, each target that you throw has a little bit different. So I'll alternate between the two of them, and, you know, the sparser cover, the laydowns and that, I like to throw a spinnerbait on, and the real thick, bushy stuff, I drop the jig in there. And, you know, all these other guys are on the same quality of fish, and it's just a matter of who gets the bite and who executes and gets that fish in the boat.
Look at all the cover out here, the snags and stumps and fallen logs. You get the idea that execution will definitely play a part in today's competition. This is Bill Chapman. He's fishing with inside of the takeoff on a raised flat. Plenty of this type of structure and cover that the fish are keying on.
Well, there's a channel on each side of it. There's deep water out in front, and the current hits this area right here, and it comes up out of that deep water and really builds up some current. And those fish position themselves on this wood to have natural feeding spots. They can hide it here and catch the bait fish that washes up out of that deep water across this shallow flat. Just a natural feeding spot for them.
Tommy, we're going to hear the guys talk about current all day long here. You're not going to see any current.
No, absolutely. It looks like a big pond.
Right, but the current can be so slight, such a subtle little bit of current, just ease and past the the blowdowns and that stump that's right in front of Danny there, and the fish will react to that little bit of current.
He created a little bit of his own there. He had a buzz bait on, and that works.
You know, these guys are going to fish buzz bait a little bit early, but you watch when everything kind of settles down, they'll go back to their main baits, which are normally spinner baits and flipping a jig.
Here the cover comes complete with other obstacles as well. Two anglers from East Tennessee in our field of 5 today. One of them, this man right here, Dwayne Porton. I guess you could say he's on the board of directors when it comes to the technique of flipping, isn't he?
He's one of the finest flippers that I've ever seen. Now, this is not really his style of flipping here. As a matter of fact, he's fishing a little finesse worm, which is
surprised everybody when he broke that news the other day.
Totally out of left field, especially in this little off-colored water to be using a finesse worm. I think we're watching the buzzbait of Craig Powers right now, who, Tom, this is kind of funny. He had a good hit right now.
Fun to see that.
The other of our East Tennessee anglers here, Craig.
And I started to say he has not fished a buzzbait very much here, but he's starting the day
I'll
off.
tell you what that is. That is nerve-wracking.
He'll give us some enjoyment today, wouldn't you say?
He always does.
He'll make some expressions that you have never heard before.
He'll add to the lexicon.
Say he's let his boat get right up against this bank right here. Look, here comes that current we keep talking about, right through that little bottleneck. Boy, he's in a perfect place there to, especially early in the morning like that, to pick up a fish or two.
Got one right there. This looks like a nice clean area too. No big obstacles to get those fish in.
Right, again, look, his boat is right up on dry land. He's just sitting right there, and he's throwing at that little opening.
Right now, he's the prettiest.
and taking advantage of that current.
We talked about the importance of execution today, and boy, early today, Bill Chapman has been just about flawless. It spanned from 7 a.m. to 7:20. He was able to land his limit of fish. Take a
Boy,
look at this.
he is really on.
There's one at once.
And you know what makes that even more amazing is look what he's catching those fish in. Now, obviously, that's a good place to catch fish in, but it's a very difficult place to get them out of and in the boat. And he's just, he's right on. As I say, he's not missing anything. He's, you know what? He's got a lot of confidence. He got his first two out of there real easy, and then the third one came pretty easy. And then all once you get on a roll like that, and you know that you're going to get them out of there every single time, you relax a little bit, and everything becomes a lot easier. It's not like that all the time, I'm telling you.
The bites have been real soft. The fish have been pretty unaggressive in the way they've been biting it, and it's really changed. In the beginning, they were really getting the bait good. The fish are just, and I don't know if it had to do with changing the weather conditions or what, but the fish yesterday were a lot tougher to catch, and the bite was a lot more subtle. They didn't want to chase the bait at all, and it's been pretty good.
Well, I tell you what, flipping a jig or throwing a spinnerbait is two really different techniques, and Kevin just keeps going back and forth to make sure that he covers every little spot with both techniques. And boy, he's a great spinnerbait fisherman.
Good one too. Oh, come on, a 5-pounder. Golly, you can't do that. Nothing to do about it now.
An error he did not want to make. Meanwhile, surging ahead, Bill Chapman, don't go away. Plenty more fishing to come. Welcome back. You're watching the Walmart FLW Tour event here on the Red River in Shreveport, Louisiana. That is Bill Chapman fishing in the background. Chapman has set the woods on fire this morning. Already a limit of fish, about 8 pounds. Kevin Van Dam has lost a huge one already.
And, well, we talked about this a little earlier. He was a great spinnerbait fisherman, and there was no I don't think he did anything wrong there. That fish just came off. These fish are biting a little, in his area anyway, biting a little bit softer. I don't think there's a thing he could have done about that except now try to forget it.
Haven't had that happen.
Oh, Kevin's trying to laugh that off, but
He's laughing to keep from crying.
ooh,
right
that's
there.
two of those guys. And sometimes a bass will inhale a spinnerbait, and other times all they got to do is kind of run up behind it and bite it.
In a row makes you wonder.
And I'm afraid two in a row have just bit the tail end of it.
Back to Mr. Execution right here. Back to Bill Chapman. He's got another one. Oh, man. Well, he takes another approach. He just flies him through the air. The flying fish technique.
Yeah, Kevin just can't get it going quite yet. His confidence is at one end, and Bill Chapman's is at the other end right now.
The whole deal right here, though, is it's just about 2.5 foot deep out of the whole flat right in there. And the only way you stay there is keep your trolling motor running, and I believe that, you know, it just, ain't been so much pressure right here that they're spooky as I'll get out. I'd like to shock this right here and just see how many fish is in here. You can pull in here and practice and cast that jig anywhere out in there. And, you know, just swim them around, one to let go of it, you work it 5 feet and another again. There's so many fish in here, it's crazy. But there's been a bunch caught right here in the last 3 days.
Greg Powers loves the Red River, had a high finish last year at our Tour Championship. That was in the fall. The water conditions were a little different, but still a lot of fish caught.
I think he likes fishing on rivers, period. Remember, he did such a good job in the Mississippi River a couple
2
years
years
ago.
running he did well on them. In Memphis, Tennessee.
He's fishing in a completely different area, though, with the Red River here, though. So, actually, he did have a good finish last year, but it didn't help him a whole lot because he started all over this year. And as I say, he's in a different part of the river right now.
You know, a lot of guys get flustered when you lose big fish like that, but I tell you, you just got to move on and, you know, learn from it. Hopefully it'll teach you something by the way that it bit or something like that that you can use to get another one to bite.
I'll tell you what, I've never seen this guy slack up. I don't think losing a couple of fish is going to make him do that.
Well, I don't believe so either. He's been in this position a number of times, and looks like we have another good report. He catches home dingers, Tommy. And, you know, I know he puts that in the boat, and he's proud that he has it, but he's probably also thinking, I should have 3 like this right now.
He'd have 12 pounds of fish right
Yeah.
now.
There's a good one. Oh, broke me off. Cut my line on that log. Doggone. That was a 4-pound fish, too.
The first little bit of a stumble for Bill Chapman, but boy, is he doing great. In the lead by a long shot, 8.5 pounds. Kevin Van Dam in second. Much more to come. Don't go away. Walmart FLW Tour here on the Red River in Louisiana. Superstar Kevin Van Dam trying to come back from having missed 2 big fish already here on Championship Day.
There's a good. Oh, God.
Make that 3. Jerry, help this guy.
You know what? Kevin knows more than anybody that you can have those kind of things happen to you and still compete, but you can't win with that happen continuously.
Big one. I can't keep one on that Saturday.
He's having a tough day, but Kevin Van Dam is having a super year on the Walmart FLW Tour. Opened up with a second down at Lake Okeechobee, and in the next 3 tournaments, he's finished no worse than 30th place. Puts him in the lead for the Angler of the Year competition and the cover of the Kellogg's box.
You know what? He was zeroed in on that Kellogg's box right from the start. I think he even told us at the beginning of the year, boy, he wanted that well. He's headed that way. Now, he's got some good competition yet. I believe Guido Hibden and Rick Clun and a few others up there pretty close. Boy, he is on his way. And the next event is right in his backyard, so he's doing well.
Kevin, I know losing a big one or two, especially early in the day, is tough, but I would imagine you're a guy who's learned how to put that behind you through the years, haven't you?
Yeah, it's tough. I lost the first 3 in a row today, and 2 of them were big ones, and one of them was a good one, and it's hard to come back from that. But you know, we're still plugging at it. There's a lot of good fish in the area, and it just takes a couple of bites. You know, I caught that 7.5 pounder down here, and I caught several other close to that in practice, and that's the ones we're looking for now.
They seem to be a little more willing to bite today than they were yesterday.
They were biting this morning. It was flat instead of windy, and the fish were set up in the cover. And the problem was they just weren't taking the bait real good, I guess, because I'd pull them all the way out of the cover and get them halfway to the boat, and then they'd come off. So just it's unfortunate. You know, I don't really believe in luck, but it was just an unfortunate morning, and we're trying to come back from it.
Kevin, don't you go through little stretches where, you know, for one day you have them things jump up and bite you, and then you go for 2 or 3 days and not make a mistake?
Yeah, I really have fished exceptionally well up until this point. I just haven't had any fish that have come off that have hurt me at all, and I've had them in some pretty gnarly stuff. And today it just hasn't been that way. But you know, I can't complain because the rest of the week that got me here, I didn't have any bad things happen at all. So,
are you going to try to go back and get even?
Well, I've been to the scene of the crime a couple of times now, and it just each place where I've lost one, I haven't been able to go back and get those fish. They're constantly repositioning in this cover. There's so much cover here that it's hard to know exactly where one's going to be. But it seems like the thickest, best little spot or the biggest trees, those are the ones that the fish are keying on. And you know, if you let them sit for a while and let the fish reposition on them, a lot of times you can go back there and catch them. But these ones here have been, I guess I hooked them a little bit too much, and they didn't really want to come back. So we're going to keep fishing.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Under Gary Klein said the same thing when he fished in the Mississippi River last year. He almost got that fish. He's going to let him sit there for 2 hours, eat lunch, maybe come back, and I'll catch that fish. And he sure did.
And he was doing it.
Bill Chapman has been doing it again. He started out in the zone for sure this morning. A limit of fish in less than 45 minutes, and in the past 20 minutes, he has caught another flurry, so really upgraded his catch.
And he lost a big fish. According to Billy, he lost it. How do these guys know they're 4 and 4.5 pounds?
I don't know. It's an interesting statistic. Not a fish under 4 pounds has been lost today.
But he did lose a fish just recently that would have helped him a lot. Some of these fish are helping him in ounces, but he needs a couple of good ones to help the poundage. Because these other guys are still going to catch good fish now. We've got guys that don't even have a limit yet, but you cannot count them out because there's too many fish available here on the river.
That's one.
He is culled now up to 11 pounds. You get the idea. He still may need one of those big ones, one of those 5-pounders. But boy, he's sitting atop the leaderboard right now.
That big fish I broke off one over there a while ago. Might come back to hunt.
Meanwhile, Dwayne Horton has switched his jig for a finesse bait this week. It's worked good until today. Not so good so far. 2.5 pounds. Craig Powers using the buzz bait, the spinner bait, even pulling out a crankbait today. He's got 4 fish and 7 pounds. Kevin Van Dam, Dan Moorhead, each only have 1 fish. They're going to have to get a lot more done, but there's time to get it done. Don't go anywhere. There's plenty more to come on the Walmart FLW Tour. Right now, Craig Powers is using the tool he calls the bass boat. He's finished up at that little spot he started out in, Jerry. He wanted to get a limit, but he didn't quite achieve that.
You know what? A lot of times, the guys that do well in these events are not only the ones that have good plans, but know when to abandon them when they're not working out.
I'll tell you right now that you can only miss so many like that and not be able to come back from it. I mean, you're only going to get so many opportunities. That second one I lost up there on a spinnerbait doesn't really bother me because he was, 2.5, 3 pounder or whatever. But these bigger ones, that hurts.
Come on, Kevin, forget about those fish.
Still not quite behind him yet, is
right into the moment here. He's quit throwing a spinnerbait as much now.
Big one.
seems to be really zeroing in on these fish with just flipping a jig, as well as everybody else is. All Chapman's still throwing spinnerbait some.
Something tells me he's not going to abandon that spinnerbait. Bill Chapman, West Virginia, already had his limit. Probably caught 3 limits by now. And boy, a slot like that, that's the kind of slot. If you've ever fished a spinnerbait, that's the kind you want to run it through with.
And you know what? I think Kevin even mentioned this. It's a real good idea to try to throw down the sides of those logs. And of course, this is an instance where boat positioning is so important. Don't even make your cast until the boat is in the right spot, where in this case, you're going to make a cast right over in this area, then bring your spinnerbait across this particular log. There's the bait, hits the water. Now it's coming up to this log. When it runs over this log, the blade will kick in, and when it falls maybe a foot, any fish up and down this log right here is going to see it coming. Those spots are what the fishermen call sweet spots, and you want to cover them first.
Well, Bill Chapman, you know we can see you.
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty close right now.
Can you see us all right?
Well, I'm not looking that direction, but I think I could.
Well, I know you're having a great day. What was your biggest fear when you got up this morning? What was the worst thing that could have possibly happened to
I
you
was
guys?
afraid I wouldn't have any wind.
Afraid you wouldn't have any wind.
Yeah. But I've had a great day. I had a limit at 720 this morning.
Well, you don't have any wind, do you?
Yeah, I've got a little bit of breeze out here.
Just a little breeze, yeah.
Just enough to put some chop on the water where these fish will eat.
Hey, well, we talked to you last night, asked you this question. Do you relax after you catch 5 fish? And you know, without really trying to, that happens to a fisherman occasionally.
Not this one.
Not this one? 5 fish did not change your attitude at all.
No, I've caught, best count I had, I've caught 24 keepers today, and I'm hoping to catch 24 more.
I know the time we remember you most prominently in past tournaments, Bill, I guess it was probably in South Carolina on Lake Murray. You were leading the field and then came back and had an old goose egg the next day. And that probably makes you mentally tougher in the long run, doesn't it, to have an experience like that and to sort of learn from that?
Yeah, but I'd sure like to forget that one.
Well, happy to help you out there.
Yeah, way to go, Tommy.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah, you're really pumping me up, Tom.
Well, you know, I guess maybe we should let you fish in peace, and we're happy you're having such a great day. So much fun catching so many fish.
Just don't give up. I'm going to hit me a little hot spell here, Greg. God, there he was. There he was. Golly, bomb, he took that jig and went. If I don't have 5, I do now.
The whole thing in here is the bass are, you know, they're keying on the thickest pieces of cover and any horizontal, you know, lay downs and things like that that are laying horizontally. They like to position by them. And when it's calm like this, they'll sit higher in those bushes and stuff. I was quite surprised I didn't get any bites out of any of the bushy stuff. But that's really what they're all on. It's not real thick and gnarly or long and narrow like a log. They really like to get that shade cover if possible, where they can sit there and ambush a shad that comes by, or bluegill or whatever.
Boy, another good reason to pay attention to boat positioning. Again, you know, this brush and this cover, it looks one way as we see it with the naked eye, Tommy, but it needs to be fished correctly.
Just got to get those big ones back.
All 5 of our finalists have worked hard all their lives, basically, on their technique, on their fish finding ability, and also on their tackle collection.
A lot of rods need new line. A variety of shallow crankbaits. I've been cranking some on the rocks. This is a backup what-if pattern. I'm bad about carrying too much stuff. Never have too many jigs. A tube box. Got all my different magic marker, different styles of hooks. Always got to have an autograph pen in case the kid wants an autograph. You got to have a net.
I could really have put everything I used in one pocket. A spinnerbait, the black and blue jig, and a green red flake tube. I couldn't come without my jig box. I've won more money on a jig than everything else combined.
I'm a little bit older and I'm more experienced. I don't have to carry as much. I know what I'm gonna fish with. I fish with them right there. The main little lure is right there.
And that's it?
That's it. Number one when you're my age. See my hands? That's too much fishing without sunscreen. Pop-Tarts? You don't go anywhere without Pop-Tarts.
I carry about 200 pounds of plastic worms, and I don't even hardly throw them. But you never know when you get that co-angler in the back of the boat and he pulls out some goofy colored worm. I want to have one. I'm real focused in on the area that I'm in and what I need to be doing there. And it's just a matter of figuring out what the fish want on each given day. And I'm basically throwing Strike King spinnerbaits and Strike King jigs. Out here on the Red River, the cover is so thick, and it's just, I mean, textbook spinnerbait and flipping water, and that's my strengths, and that's what I'm going to stick with.
It would have to be my lucky dinosaur. It really came through today, so it will be with me forever. As long as it don't melt. It's made out of wax. So we need to start installing air conditioners in these Rangers.
Welcome back to the Walmart FLW Tour here on the Red River near Shreveport, Louisiana. One of our top 5 anglers there is Dan Moorhead, who's having a tough day. Just one fish so far. The man has been Bill Chapman. He's caught probably 3 to 4 limits of fish already, including this good one right here. He is in the lead. He keeps inching away from the crowd there, but don't count this guy out. Kevin Van Dam. He missed 3 big ones already today, enough to destroy the morale of a lot of anglers, but he is staying with it. He's got a 4-pounder in that sack, too, so he's on his way back.
Tommy, I'm real surprised about Dan Moorhead. You know, we're looking at Craig Powers right here, and Craig's going to be a factor yet. You know, he hasn't done anything spectacular, but he's been catching those 1.5-pound, 2-pound fish. He's slipping up on them. But Horton right here and Dan Moorhead kind of surprised me. I would have thought they would have done a little bit better than they've done so far. Me and Danny is really struggling, isn't it?
Right there.
Oh, come here, fish.
He just thought he was big, and I thought he was big too. He's too.
Craig Powers has arrived at his honey hole. That's a nasty-looking place,
Boy,
Jerry.
it is. And Tommy, what does golly bum mean?
I don't know. That's a Craig Powers special there.
And I'm going to use that. I mean, somewhere along the line, I'm using the word golly bum.
If you can work it in today, there's a little bonus for you.
You better watch out for old CP now. I keep telling you, he's you know, it's like he's not doing anything spectacular, but he just keeps catching good fish.
Bigger and bigger fish, it appears, too. All right, back over to our leader now, Bill Chapman. Hasn't moved much, has he?
Is he going to slow down, or is he just going to keep jerking on fish all day long? How big he is.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
That one will be an upgrade for Bill Chapman, and he just keeps getting further and further away from the field. He's not out of sight, though, yet. Keep an eye on the rest of these anglers, including Craig Powers.
Craig Powers is really working his slew over now, and looks like he's pretty dedicated to fishing the jig, maybe the rest of the way. But time in the water almost looks muddy. I know it's not too muddy, but it looks that way to me.
Craig caught this fish. That put him back in touch with Bill Chapman in a big way, within 3 pounds of him right now.
Fish came way out that yard. I mean, my bait was controlling. Hey, John. I need 5 right here, brother. I need 5. Cut the camera off, do something different. God, look at that. I absolutely love you. Oh, gosh, I love that fish right there. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Dad. All right, baby. My dad's up there right now. Him and Kobe's dad, Kobe Krieger, my roommate. His dad passed away about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago now. And I guarantee you, Kobe's dad and my dad, they sitting around up there right now, and they are laughing their butts off. Because Kobe just won that Everstart last weekend at Kentucky Lake. And I guarantee you them two are done talking fishing. And one of them was looking down on me just then. Thank you, Lord. I love the Red River. I mean, I love the Red River. CP's fixing to buy a house out beside Clark Marina. Yes! I don't care what happens. I mean, I do not care what happens now. All I know is I have done my part. And the rest of it, it's out of my hands.
Right now, let's take a look at Dwayne Horton. He's taking matters into his own hands right here. A lot of times this week, you've heard some of these rescue tales, these fish that get hung up. And the big man looking pretty agile right there.
He's not looking too bad, is he? Boy, that is tough, getting those fish down in those trees and actually getting them out. And you would think you'd never get them out of there, but if you stay with them, most of the time you can do it. The problem is, most of them get off before you get to them.
I'll tell you one thing. It's hot outside. And I'll tell you something else that's hot. CP's hot, baby. Come on, fish. Keep biting.
The Walmart FLW Tour on the Red River here in Louisiana. In the past 10 years, they've done a huge navigation, water containment project. That's what created these big lakes with all this timber. Lots of places to fish. Kevin Van Dam, looking at him right now, he would be in the lead if he had caught, or at least boated, all the fish he hooked up with today.
Would have, could have, Tommy.
Would have, could have, should have.
You know what is impressive about Kevin? Actually, seems like all the guys we get on here, but these guys are such good fishermen, and they're always so good about explaining exactly how they have caught their fish and how they're going to go about it. And that always impresses me.
Craig Powers here, currently in second place, just a pound behind the leader, Bill Chapman.
Well, we've got a race, don't we?
Absolutely.
For some reason, I just really didn't see Bill Chapman running away, in spite of how many fish he was catching, how well he was doing.
Well, you never saw, and still we haven't seen him catch a really, really big fish.
So, he may still be the winner, but he's not running away with it like you would think he would. CP's got his problems right now, Tommy.
He may have the winner on right now, but we may never know what he looks like.
Boy, he is in a log jam there, isn't he?
These guys will not give up on these fish. They are bulldogs when it comes to getting those things out of jams like this.
That's meant to be. We'll see.
I don't know about this one.
Down there.
And, we're looking at it right here. We see all the log jam on the surface.
It's still on there.
But that's obviously not what he's hung up on. See in the background there, all those trees? Well, that's probably underneath the log jam as well, and that's a mess.
Now, these guys cannot leave their boat. They cannot lose physical contact with their boat. So he can't go hopping in there, reaching down under those logs. He's got to stay in the boat.
No way, Tommy.
Yeah. He can do all the landscaping work he wants to do as long as he stays in the boat there.
I've got one thing to say here, Tommy. Golly bum.
Golly bum. You made it. You get your bonus.
I got it in there, and CP will be proud of me.
He will be.
This is tough. I'm telling you what, this takes as much talent as it did to hook the fish in the first place. What are you guessing? If the fish is on there, would you say he's from his rod tip?
So close to that stupid thing.
I'd say he's maybe 6 feet away from the fish.
Still, he's that far away from the fish?
Yeah.
Well, look, yeah, you may be right.
His line was out of the water 3 feet, so you know that's down in there 3 more.
I don't
Kind of wrapped around a
know.
stump or something.
Yeah, it's whatever the deal is, it's locked in place. Normally the jig now is hung up. The actual point of the hook is hung up in a piece of wood and the fish is long gone. That's what I would guess the deal is. If it is, we've wasted a lot of time here. Come on, Steve. A scoreboard or something you could talk about down there?
He's either got hold of an alligator and given him a back massage, or there's a fish down there. He looks like something. CP is a pound behind leader Bill Chapman at this point.
Can't get to him if he's on there.
Still doesn't know if he's on. Okay.
Yeah, he said he couldn't get to him if he's on there, but he doesn't know if he's on there. Did he give? Oh no! I thought he gave up. He's trying to save the jig at this point. I would be.
I wouldn't be. The jig would be gone if there was no fish on it, but he still thinks there's a fish on it. Look at him.
Oh my goodness! Wow. How about that?
Please, please, please. Push a button on that reel, please. Dad, I know you're looking down here, buddy. God, I miss you. And I appreciate that, Lord. Oh, gosh. I'm calm. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Can you believe that just happened? Can you believe it just happened? Can you believe it just happened? Never in my life has anything happened like that. Green has got to go! Can't remember which one's green. That was green. You know what Austin Powers would say, don't you? He's my cousin. Yeah, baby! Gosh, I can't believe that just happened. I cannot believe that just happened to me. Stuff like that don't happen to me. Oh, cool. I'm tore all to pieces. I mean, I am tore. I cannot believe I pulled that fish. I cannot believe I pulled that line up and that fish was on there. God, it did not just happen. Oh. Okay. And if I've got time to hit them reeds on the way in right there at the check-in, I will. But if not, OCP found him a pond. I can't believe that just happened. I am thankful, though. God, all right, John. Let's catch a big one now. Look at me getting greedy.
Craig Powers on a major roll there, and look at this guy, Bill Chapman, having the day of his life. He's probably caught 30-plus keeper fish. Doesn't even know what's happened to him. Powers is just now overtaken.
He was kind of coasting there, wasn't he?
He was catching fish, but
the guys don't know what the other fishermen have caught, so they have no idea. And you get a feeling out there how well you're doing. And I know Chapman is really feeling good about his catching. He should be, but along comes Craig Powers, and here comes Kevin Van Dam. We are in the last hour of the day here, and we still don't have a winner.
Well, you never give up. They're all around me, and I can't catch them. Gee, that's another 3-4 minutes just to finish the rest of this coverage. hour, and it's lights out.
How about that turn of events? Kevin Van Dam now didn't even have a limit 2 minutes ago. Now he's got his limit, and he's got the lead, 14 pounds of fish.
And he was doing a lot of calculating there. He has 45 minutes to get back to the takeout point. So his time is very limited. In fact, he's probably done fishing. The other guys are pretty close to home, and so they still got a few more casts. And Tommy, our scoreboard is unofficial, as we always say, and right now it is really tight.
Absolutely.
Kevin Van Dam may have the lead, though.
Oh, mercy. Hey, golly. Bam! Hello, Pete.
Was that enough to do it for Craig Powers? What a day we have had here. Tough day for these two guys, Dwayne Horton and Dan Moorhead. They fished hard, but couldn't quite get into the thick of things. Same thing happened to Bill Chapman. Caught tremendous amount of fish, but just not enough to be in there at the last. It's down to Kevin Van Dam and Craig Powers. It's almost weigh-in time.
God almighty, what a day. Ah.
If you're just joining us, you got to stick around for a second, because this is a good one. This is to decide the championship on the Red River, Shreveport, Bossier, Louisiana. We're down to 2 anglers in the finals. Craig Powers has weighed in a limit of fish, 14 pounds, 11 ounces. The only other man with a shot at overtaking him, winning the 100,000, the legendary Kevin Van Dam from Kalamazoo, Michigan. He's going to have to bring up 2 pounds, 12 ounces. Craig, come on up here. Kevin, let's see what's going to happen. Man, oh man. You ready for this?
I've waited my whole life for this.
I know what you mean. Craig Powers, top 5 last year. Just about pulled it off last year here on the Red River. All right, here we go. Kevin Van Dam, it's got to be 212 to win the championship, his first FLW championship.
Won't do it. 1 pound. 15
Craig
ounces.
Powers right here.
115.
About this guy. Worth the wait. Here's somebody come to see you right here. Came up through the EverStart series. Did it the hard way. Did it the way you're supposed to do it. Man, it's paid off. Who's
Hey,
this?
this is my mom. This is my #1 fan since the beginning of time.
All right.
I've been real fortunate to have the parents that I have. And my dad, he passed away about 2.5 years ago, and we had a few conversations today. All week long I've been talking to him. He's been talking to me. And Mom never told me she was going to come. They live about 12 or 13 hours from here. And last night when they found out I made the cut, they got in a car right then and started driving. And when I walked through it, a little tent today, and I saw them sitting there, you know, win, lose, or draw, I had a great day fishing. And, you know, when you got your family with you, what else matters?
Yeah. It's the best. Oh.
Well, Craig Powers is definitely one of our favorites, and guess what the Fuji flashback is today? Got to be number one fish of all time for Craig Powers.
When that happened, I mean, all day long, I was having a really good day fishing. I wasn't catching many big fish, but I was catching good, solid 2.5 pounders. And when that happened, you're going to win. I don't care who you are or where you're at. If something like that happens to you, you're going to win.
You're the chosen one.
That's all I can figure.
All right. How about another hand for Craig? You know, the one thing that I learned a long time ago about bass fishing, though, is, and it's real important to me, I want to control all the variables that I can. But the ones you can't control, you don't worry about. So if you lose a fish, no big deal. You know, use what you learned to get that fish to bite to go get another one. And I'll tell you, I had a really hard day, and I overcame a lot of things to catch the fish that I did, and I'm real proud of that. And, you know, second place isn't all bad.
This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.